I'm just thrilled that we're presenting this really intriguing and exciting exhibit here at Valley Arts Center, and especially excited about tonight and the poetry that we'll be hearing, all in collaboration with Heights Arts. So special thank you to Rachel Bernstein and your leadership and partnership with Valley Arts Center in this way. So thank you so much. I'd also want to thank Dan Simone, our gallery manager, for his hanging talents and organization, as well as all of our staff, volunteers, board. Several board members are here tonight, instructors. Thank you for everything that you do. We couldn't do what we do without you, so thank you. This is a very special exhibition called Posing the Question, which was originally presented by Heights Arts back in 2000. Didn't get a lot of attention because COVID, and so we're re-exhibiting Posing the Question. We're also exhibiting the double wall pottery of Tracy Amin, which you'll see around the gallery as well. And Tracy's work is just renowned. It's in the White House and the Smithsonian and more. So, I'd also like to thank our sponsors for making tonight possible and all the programming that we do, including Premier Bank, Cuyahoga Arts and Culture, and Ohio Arts Council. So a special thanks to them. And if you haven't yet had a chance, please take a minute to review the words on the wall, our points of view. It's incredibly important, and we are committed to authentically and boldly doing the work of inclusivity here at Valley Arts Center. Tonight's Ekphrastacy program, Artists Talk and Poets Respond, includes 4 incredible poets led by the current Heights Arts Poet Laureate and Cleveland Art Prize Lifetime Achievement Award 2021, Ray McNiece. And I'll let Ray introduce the poets individually in just a minute, but a huge thank you goes out to all of you. Thank you for being here, and Valley Arts Center welcomes you. Afterwards, there'll be refreshments, beer, wine, and some snacks outside in the parking lot, so please join us out there for a few minutes. And Rachel, did you want to address the group for a minute?
So as Beck mentioned, I'm the director of Heights Arts, and I'm very excited to be here because this is really the culmination of our very first collaboration from before Beck was director here, when Nancy Heaton from Bay Arts, I from Heights Arts, and Marianne Breisch, former director, got together and formed our own coalition called Points of View. But I don't know if you knew that.
I did. Oh, later. I knew it.
Yeah. So with the intent of doing exactly what we're doing here tonight. So it's very exciting that a program that was started back when I first became director about 8 years ago, called Ekphrastacy, can be shared now amongst our organizations and hopefully in other places around Cleveland. We at Heights Arts are excited because our true name is Heights Arts Collaborative, so we love the fact that we're collaborating. We love forming relationships with other organizations and providing opportunities for poets to be creative, and also very important for us to support artists, musicians, and poets by paying them for the good work that they do. So we're very excited to be able to support in this way. That's about all I wanted to say, except that Heights Arts is now in our 21st or 22nd year. Well, we started in 2000, so I guess this is 21, so I can do math. And we are now on our 10th Poet Laureate. Ray McNiece is our 10th Poet Laureate. For many years, we have the only Poet Laureate in the state of Ohio. Now we do have an Ohio Poet Laureate, but we're very proud of the fact that we've been supporting poetry programming and now this multidisciplinary programming and sharing it with you all. So thank you.
That's why we love you, Rachel. Thank you. No, to support poets, of course, is something that really means a lot to us because we don't often get that kind of support or appreciation. So thank you again. Congratulations, Beck. Dan, thanks for doing a bang-up job of putting the exhibit together. It's a fantastic show. It's a very challenging show. But I think that's the time we're living in. And I think we should be posing the question, getting these different points of view. That's what's going to make America, America. Let America be America. As Langston Hughes said, it never was for me. So, but it is now, and we've got some wonderful poets to help bring that home to you all. I'm going to start with the youngest poet, Belle Freeman, who is a she is the Russell Atkins instructor at 12 Literary Arts. So she's teaching young poets, young teen poets. And last time I introduced her to several of you here at the opening, and I said she's kind of like our Amanda Gorman, but I amended that to say that Amanda Gorman is kind of like the Raja Freeman. This wonderful person to my immediate right is Sujata Lakhe, and I am responsible for her becoming a poet in some ways. She's a lab rat. She got that science brain. I don't know, right brain, left brain. That's the problem with poets. We don't know our life right from our left. But anyways, she's on whatever side that the poets are not on. But she is now. And I used to lead a workshop at the Cleveland Public Library as part of the Lit Fest. And she was one of the people in the workshop, and it was a performance workshop. And I always have a knack of homing in on people who don't want to come up. So I dragged her up, and now I can't stop her from writing poetry. So she is in the Zoom poetry workshop that we've been doing online for over a year now. She really works diligently at her art and craft, so you'll be delighted with her. And last but certainly not least, one of the dynamic performers, not only of Cleveland, but of the entire country. Did you not win some slam? You took the prize? You won a few. I know. So did you. So we got all kind of. So did I. So I'm not. No flies on me either, kids. Don't forget. So, anyways, Sierra recently was appointed the Playwright Fellow at Cleveland Public Theater, which is my home theater, a theater that is near and dear to my heart, and a theater that is always about progressive politics and different points of view. So look for her work coming up in the near future. So what we're going to do for this evening is we have a couple of the poets, a couple of the artists in the house. So we're going to have the artists come up, talk a little bit about their process, about the particular pieces that are in the exhibit, and then we will respond, as it says, poets respond. So we will respond to your work. And we are very lucky and fortunate to have someone who's been very inspiring to me. In the first exhibit at Heights Arts, I wrote about this piece, and he got a brand new one right here, so I wrote about that piece. So first, though, we're going to have Sierra talk about this piece right here.
The devil wasn't busy, and so several slaves slept longer that night. A white woman's name is erased from history so fast you blink and think she black. The moon has 5 less stab wounds. She holds herself different. Not one of the 27 versions exists, not one. Some died in the war, some chose softer lives as blankets. One dressed a fellow and got him laughed clean out polite society, the dreaded color red, the remorseful color blue, the stars, all get some pride returned. A revolt occurs, obviously. A flagless land must have extra teeth. I don't know where I am. Here, niggas feel less sad. And I don't know how, but the author has nothing to burn when she turns 17. Thank you.
So I wrote this piece called Woe the People. Not We the People, but Woe the People. And We the People was probably the most powerful political expression that was ever written down and proclaimed. We the people, the most powerful 3 words ever proclaimed as the impetus of a revolution to invert the pyramid of power from the top down to a government founded by and for the people to duly elect their leaders. Woe the people who forgot we are all the people, created equally with liberty and justice for all, not just us alone versus us, all others who do not look like us. Woe the people who attack and ransack the people's house and plant flags of viral fear there, flags of righteous purity, flags of the lost cause of racial supremacy that once flew over the cornerstone of slavery, the cornerstone speech. Woe the people who smear their scared shit on the walls of the people's house. Woe the people who hide in their chambers, comfortable in chairs, padded with lobby money, who salute the mobocracy on their way to sedition, whose names shall live in infamy. Woe the people who try to ensure they are the only people who hold power and all others sheeple, while they themselves bleat and repeat the lies of pundits and con men, wool pulled over their eyes before being fleeced by prosperity gospel zealots. Woe to the people who cannot look past the small screen in their hands or the big screen of hate they stare into all night to see that when we, the people, meet face to face, we are more likely to see eye to eye. Woe to the people who do not open the door and look outside at all of us struggling, who look in the wrong direction, for whence come their problems, for waste flows downstream. Woe the people always looking away in this ignorance is bliss, disunited states of denial, until they cannot look anywhere without seeing collapsing coastlines, drought fires, smoking spacious skies, mass shootings, crossfiring the country, without seeing layoffs, low pay on the rise, high crimes and lies, from Main Street to Wall Street, from the outhouse to the White House. Woe to the people who claim we are a Christian nation. For if our gospel is not peace and justice, Jesus lied. But Jesus weeps as we make our Bibles into bombs and spell hate across the land in the name of God. Woe to the people who cease being citizens and become employees of Ameriscam Inc., who buy into greed is good, consume or be consumed, do unto others before they do you, who sacrifice their children and their elders on the altar of the marketplace. Woe to the people who devour the wilderness to make landfills of sacred lands, who suck the earth dry, knowing they will soon go to heaven, who do not heed the native who told them, you killed your God and came over here and blamed us. Woe to the people who do not know this has always been a nation of immigrants, those people, woe to them who do not read their own story as one of many stories. We, the people, are we really the people after all? Or do we want to stay subjects of this divine right war machine, or victims of a vast conspiracy, or objects for market profit, just data points of apocalyptic algorithms? Will we become the people who refuse to buy into the lie that it is us versus us in a constant civil war? Will we, the people, finally live up to our ideal, the pluribus unum?
First, I'm going to read what this says, because there are words on here, and then I'm going to read my poem. Well, I'm going to talk a bit about it first, but I'm going to read my poem. So, it means standing ready to fight at racism intersection with other bigotries. We will be seen. We examine our own involved. We shrink and cower and will no longer be in. Wow, I can't see this. First, blame, it is a growth story. Being on the right side of history. We've all been in our collect bubbles. Being an anti-racist requires persistent self-awareness, constant self-criticism, and regular self-examination. Intersectionalities, insights, we must prove to a large point of population that we are good. So, some of the words you can't see on the edge here, and I think that's because, you're just, when you're having thoughts, and there's a woman running in this picture, when you're having these thoughts, you can't really think through it fully, but you're just taking the time to just give yourself a moment to be with your thoughts, even though they're not complete yet, right? I think this is really important because what happens when you don't take a moment to think through these things on your own, what happens is you end up dumping it on a person of color. And what happens in those moments is you are committing an act of violence, because that is very tiring to hear. Very tiring to hear. And I wrote in response to this because it reminded me of a friend that did not do this, that decided to come to me with it and, you know, sort of ask me like what she should be doing. It's very tiring. I appreciate seeing this a lot because, oh my God. White friend asked if I'm going to the protest. Says she feels it's her duty to drive me there if I want to go. Says she knows I don't have a car. Says she understands when I tell her I'm sitting this out. Says she's here for me. Says she'll be at the protest for me. I thought she was going for George Floyd. Says, let me know if you need anything. Ask if I'm okay. I do not have an answer to this question. I respond with a screenshot of one of my poems. She says it's accurate. Says it's spot on. Says she understands. Says I'm a great writer. Quotes her favorite line back to me. I did not need this validation.
And this one is, what are we running from? Intersectional connection. And it really resonated with me that when you're running, your body kind of disappears, and your mind and your body and the whole world kind of comes in connection. So here's my poem. You run and run and run on the fidget objects attached to your pelvis. Racing thoughts silenced by the racing body, looking for connection in solitary pursuit. Skyscrapers and smooth, hard, slick digital devices forming a net, talking with each other, but you seek texture, smoothness of stone, waxy honeycomb, and tackiness of cellophane. You run and run and run, crunching, squishing, clickety-clack, swinging, ponytail reminding you're more than just a brain, that you have a body with intense capacities for feeling, for acting. Double over from breathing hard with your hands on your knees from pain with you, bring your frontal cortex to the same level as your heart. You run and run and run to connect the North Pole with the South, trying not to think of how the evil forces of colonizers who drew the Greenwich timeline for control, and how the Ekphrastacy looks just like the longitudes on a map, and why your bra is engineered so bad. Mind, body, and world melting together in a glorious connection, triggering a kind of a Cartesian collapse. So some things we need to know about this day, and about this day in this year. A day of festivity or recreation when no work is done. It was not. It should not be, not at least until we have taken care of a few things, so we can celebrate with honesty, until every human living in our country can also celebrate it. On this day, 57,000 new infections, the 7th time in 9 days, the US record broke for another daily coronavirus new infection. What was our president doing? He was celebrating the practice of enslaving another human being by denouncing those who want to remove Confederate symbols. That pride and nostalgia over their history, steeped in systemic racism, was celebrated at the foot of Mount Rushmore, salt in the wound of Native Americans whose land was taken. nostalgia and romance, not just some sound bites on the TV or radio. I have seen human mouths say this 3 feet away from me. That is the law and order 45 was talking about in the Black Hills, where hundreds of unarmed Sioux women, children, and men were shot and killed by US troops. This was also the day when 3 Aurora, Colorado police officers were fired for mockingly reenact the death of a 23-year-old black man, Elijah McClain. Don't let the fireworks fool you. It's just a day when most will have picnics in the park, when some don't go to work. But it's no holiday. What if you were a DACA dreamer? Each boom of the fireworks is a reminder of shots that kill people on streets or homes or parking lots. Each color of the firework burned away in thin air for the pleasure of fear.
This is crowd control after Cowardly Yellow. My mother is afraid of mice, as am I. And so she calls the exterminator to pump gas through our walls. The fear is irrational, I suppose. With our size and strength, we could crush them up in our palms, wipe the residue off our hands, and be rid of the rodent rebels who dared to attempt to empower themselves by placing their puny little bodies within the walls of our home. But no, that's too messy. We are too afraid. Gas makes the job easy, disperses and weakens the enemy before they have a chance to even try to nibble at us. If you are to be an exterminator, call yourself such. Do not take some cop-out title. You're wearing the same gas mask right now. You are there to squash and destroy that which evokes fear into the folks in power. Beat the ideological twinkle from their eyes today. Crush body after body after body after body tomorrow.
Seems every day there are more and more of them, dark as swarming ants and as relentless, filling up the space so there is almost nowhere to stand. Every time I look out the window, the tide of black seems to swell, inevitable as the ocean at night, the beach almost gone. They are always there, massing in the back of my mind, death birds. In the quietest corner of my heart, I sit and wait as wings rise all around. There seems no way to stop them. From where they come, I'm not sure, but I am afraid. I feed them. They grow larger with my fear.
A sea of cops. The seabed is made for you. Now lie in it. Lie in it. Lie in a shore lined with ghost ships, the tides held at gunpoint, sand castles made from bones and back talk. Is it still a metaphor? Or is it a global philosophy now? Tell me, you haven't heard or heard of the silence. Act like you don't know the quick and agonizing sink of fang to flesh. So much iron spilling, so many monsters. Plugging your ears will not work. What a cruel adventure. What a horrifically unremarkable way to drown.
The scent of home-cooked meal, this anxiety to catch the last train home, a contract they just signed. An unfinished report may get them in trouble. News of a parent sick, a graduation, a wedding, a funeral, groceries list. Pass under the street light, stoic light falling with equal generosity on all those hurrying, those loitering, and those who have Trump hair, and those who carry the burden of the world on their shoulder. All transient people, some with heartache, some wishing as they walk, some in love, some male, some female, some with a full head of hair, and some reflecting the light right back. But everyone alone in their honeycoats, with stark line separating them into isolation. They have memories, scars, knowledge, but all inside. To the street light, they may as well be victims of the body snatcher, alien species of human duplicates grown from plant-like pods talking over a small town. Is anyone walking anyone home?
And you have not accepted Carrot as your own personal savior. I'm here to tell you right now about Carrot, God Carrot. This is called Carrot on a Stick Savior. In these trying and uncertain times, we must trust in the Carrot on high, who secured our future by sending his only begotten Carrot from heaven to earth to take all our sins to the cross, where Carrot shed his blood and rose from the dead. So say this prayer with me. Though I am one of many who are empty and dark, I accept Carrot as my own personal Savior, and I am willing to follow Carrot from this day forward unto the end of days, for we are soldiers in the army of the Carrot, who shall lead us all to that garden on high. Amen.
We don't have to say a word. You can read it all in our Make America Great Again faces. We're salt of the earth, down home folks. We got what we got by dint of hard work. If you don't cotton to this country's work ethic, you can take your welfare check cashing, illegal voting, lazy asses back to the shitholes you came from. That's right. He says what I think. Just read between the lines of my upright face. I got my own rights to free speech. I can hang old Bummer from my porch if I want. He's only a dummy. Same for flying our stars and bars. You will not cancel our culture. And if you try, I've got some postcards up in the attic of what happens to uppity agitators. Read my bumper sticker. Lee surrendered. I didn't. Don't look at him, Martha. Look at me. See, Martha knows her place, making a big fat apple pie with all the fixings and tar and feather that you can handle. Don't tread on me, Mr. Libtard. We will water our parched land with your tears. Read my pursed lips, blood and soil. Those might be your streets in the city, but out here, this is our land. So read my mind if you can. Get out of town before the sun goes down.
The day Jazz crawled out, a colored gal went and got married to a river. It was said it was the only one who would have her. No shame in it. She was kind, and so forgave herself this muddy life. When folks averted their eyes, she grew even more unacceptable. Her hair started making noises and obscene hours, waking the dead and adding to their complaints. She flashed her sorrows to the townspeople, and thus they became ravenous, sensual. Her hips swung by tragedies Steady arm, she's been called out her name so much that now she only answers to abandon. She sang her own wedding song. If you know the words, you have my sincerest condolences. She borrowed faith and kept it so long, it was hers. You never met a bluer woman. Thin ice, black ice, every road to her is slick with death, a compass, silver-haired and slurred of speech nest around her neck. She has never known true hope, and is the only one who attends her ceremony. Honored guest with too many speeches. Later, during one of the numerous receptions, someone asks her to smile, and then gets mad when the sun leaves. Forgive me, she says, for I have conceived something that will take centuries to forget. Thank you.
We shall join arms from all the furthest corners of the world to caress our Mother Earth in this her time of sickness. Then remember all too late that our fingers and palm as a collective know absolutely nothing of healing, know only of violence. Get angry. Forget our own brute strength. Rip the world apart like bread. Watch her core flow out of her like gooey, melted cherry candy, burning its way down our wrists and arms. The end.
So I'm also not much of a talker, but I was born in India, and there is an Indian mythology of origins where, just like any other culture, there is a flood story. And the earth was drowning, and it was brought out of earth on the shoulders of a boar. And the boar is a reincarnation of Vishnu, who reincarnates many times over and saves the earth. And this was a little bit opposite to that, where the arms are coming out and squeezing the earth. And so then there was light. That's the title. Rivers, oceans, land, and air. Those are the organs of living earth. And those are failing. If you look at earth from space at night, you can see lit outlines of countries and continents. No one can deny this human contribution to the face of earth. Soon there will be 16 billion hands who will squeeze and squish and dig. The arms will unite and organize. Religion, technology, dream of living in another world. We will be saved, live eternally in heaven or another planet. Governing human society and money in any form mean nothing. When Earth has had enough of human shit, Earth will go on until the sun shines, but it will not look like before. Sometimes I want to throw my hands up and say, so be it.
So earlier Ray said that I've done some research. That is a very strong word for what happened. I was procrastinating because I didn't know what to write. I just know what to write about her. Because look at her, she's a badass. Right? Have y'all looked at her? So she kind of reminds me of my lunch lady from elementary school. I was reading a book of poetry, procrastinating, and I needed to read a book of poetry anyway because I need to read it to teach a class that I had to teach later in the semester. And I found a poem called Big Black Bitch, right? And it was like clearly about her. Like it described her, it said they called her Stagecoach Mary, and she was known for having her cigar and her pistol. And I was like, wait a minute. I know exactly who you're talking about. You're talking about that cookie jar from the art exhibit. And I ended up writing this poem, and you'll learn just a little bit more about her from that. So, Stagecoach Mary. I feel like we all looked at Black Mary and thought that we might know a Black Mary, and that you don't fuck with Black Mary. Black Mary might be the blackest thing I've ever seen. Black like obsidian, opal, lumps of coal in your stocking, black like Black history. Black Mary looks like a walking testament to her own skin's history. Let's rewrite the textbooks for Black Mary. It'll say, white man keep controlling, Black Mary keeps on rolling cigars, resting them in the soft, plushy flesh behind her fat red lips and taking a puff. Everybody loves Black Mary. Black Mary's black like music out of pain. Black Mary's black like the time my mom said to marry black, and then said stay Black Virgin Mary until marriage. Black Mary could be on a box of pancakes if she ever learned to smile. I mean, really, I thought they said the blacker the Mary, the sweeter the juice. Black Mary's black like nursery rhymes about killing people as black as Mary. Black Mary's black like senseless death. Black Mary's black like caricature. Black Mary's black like stereotype. Black Mary's black like assumptions. Black Mary has a story. Black Mary was respected. Black Mary was respectable. Black Mary was black like a grieving rose. Black Mary is black like molasses. Black like an empty pit. So black she's purple. Black Mary's so black you didn't even see an accomplished woman when you looked at her. Black Mary was black like the hole we bury black success in. Black Mary was the first black woman mail carrier in the United States. Black Mary was black like love. Black Mary was loved. Black Mary was stern and strong and unmovable, and that is why Black Mary might be the blackest thing I've ever seen. Thank you.
Yeah, right. Black Mary gave birth to a new daughter. And maybe God sent an angel to explain what was going on. And Black Mary said, fuck that, or maybe Black Mary sent God an angel to explain, and God said, oh me, oh my child, you deserve some rest. And Black Mary's thighs opened into storm clouds, and the rain tasted like a few winter sunsets, purples, pinks, reds, and frost. The new dark crept out, quiet as dew, and the umbilical cord was a burning bridge, and when the last of it was ash, every bird in the world lost a feather, and Black Mary felt plucked into recognition, and the new dark looked at Black Mary and neither wept. Legend has it, you can hear them cackling still, wind slurping through sky. Black Mary held the new dark up to both breasts until we had a milked river. Nothing screamed that evening, no wise men showed up, but Black Mary ain't no man anyhow. 3 wise women appeared to make a point though. The tobacco witch, a 7-tongued whore, and a storyteller in her 3rd century. All of them kin through one curse or another. Gifts were given to the new dark. 10 cans of paint skin and 400 acres of to be continued from the storyteller. The whore gave one of her tongues, her sharpest tooth, and then snuck the address of a lady who can change everything into the new dark's nose. The tobacco witch went last. Her and Black Mary had been smoking and pissing in an enemy's rose bush, or so that tale went, but once she was ready, she spit herself out into the new dark's parched ears. She grinned and burned a country's worth of plantations, then buried Black Mary's placenta in its place. Black Mary decided to name the new dark after this very act, and God looked down and said, fine.
It's called And the Jazz Plays On. The Mississippi deep keeps that bass line throbbing, that channel cattail swish flood log thump strumming, the big muddy mother of us all gathering up in her strong brown arms. Ohio River hillbilly ballads from West by God through Appalachian hollers to the Cantuck, echoing round hollow charcoal bourbon barrels, carrying down from Minnesota's thousand blue-eyed lakes clearly yodeled fiddle tunes, carrying down from Missouri's Great Plain Basin shaman drum song chants, carrying down pedal steel Tennessee twangs across gospel golden shores, and Memphis empty whiskey bottleneck silver slides that last swig, washing down red dust to dust sharecropper blues, carrying down devil deals from Highway 61 crossroads, Papa Legba and cornfield shadows, carrying down Delta juke joint, rusty fender cymbal crash, cotton picking finger scratching out boll weevil wobbles and smothered pork chop stomp, carrying down Arcadian accordion airs, turned up tempo squeeze box wheezing like a drunken gator, mosquito quick bon ton roulette reels through cypress hanging Spanish moss. Yes, the Mississippi deep keeps carrying down all those American sounds and brings them back home to New Orleans, where the beat began. Listen, you can hear it beneath the shuffle of feet in the French Quarter. Yeah, I know where I got my shoes. The same swamp buckled bricks where young Satchmo bottle cap tap, tiptoe scraped out his first tunes. No square foot level giving a body that strut, that hip hop roll just behind the beat, that second line lag, and somewhere along the moonwalk a trumpet plays as the last rays of sunset hit this city below seabelt level with one long golden high C. To open evening's revelry here in the Big Easy. On shady back streets, saxophones moan low mood indigos or shout sharp, mean stagger lead cutting contests before breaking into staccato laughters, knocked out loaded trombones intoning, come on over here mama, meet me with the black drawers on. Blown up by a tuba's fat beat, blah, punctuating lower nine warts, roots rap, blah, echoing all the way uptown where whiskey-soaked poetry rips over maple leaf rags, and echoing back down to Congo Square, where the American beat was born, birthed by slaves every Sunday. And that jazz plays on, the whole Crescent City buoyed up, swaying side to side from the sheer weight and pull of all those black, brown, high, yellow, lily-white asses dancing. Creole clarinets wailing, musical gumbo boiling over as Indian tambourines slap on full moon funky butts and shimmy down as demure parlor pianos go boogie-woogie bad. Ladies lifting shifts over the whole wild ball. It's all loud and aloud, loud and aloud, and the clarion call high C arcs across it all again before blowing a cornucopia of meaty chops, squawks, squalls, and sweet melodies, muffling down muffaletto style, until low down on the down low, lonely rain, hushing shotgun shack, tin roof vibrato, huffling off sad, sexy, viperish musings of long-gone Storyville, quadrilles trickling jelly roll sweet, tickling ebony ivory kisses, ceiling fan, metronoming around bodies suddenly sultry on balconies, where skin is bathed under pouring milk moon, cooled by drowsy lingerie breeze, as this necropolis whispers, yes, yes, wraiths walking xylophone bones home to alabaster slabs, and the Mississippi deep keeps pulsing that bass line